This video is all about the weekly activity journal, and as the name would suggest, this is something that's due every single school week. It's due on the last day of every single school week, which is more commonly a Friday than anything else. And there are a couple of ways to access this weekly activity journal. The first of which is just under the class plan here, and you could access it just in the way that you would access a quiz. And then the other way is in the content tab. We're going to go ahead and do that together here. So I'm going to click on the content tab. And the reason I'm showing you this is it seems to be easier, in my opinion, to find all assignments by just going to the content tab. But if you're on pace with the class and you're just doing things as they pop up every day, you can absolutely go to the class plan on the main page. Then you're going to, once you get into this content tab, you're going to scroll down and select a unit on the left. So I'm just going to go to the first unit of this particular class that I'm looking at here. I'm going to click on Unit 1. When I do, all the information on the right will update for Unit 1. Now I'm going to scroll all the way down. And once I get to the 1.05, I can see that there is a journal option right here. Now I'm in my student view. I'm going to switch to my teacher view for a moment. So I can click on this. It's not yet a live link for this class because we haven't got to that day yet, but I wanted to show you how it looked exactly in your login. Now that I've switched over to my teacher view, you can see I've got all these links are live, and this is what it'll look like when you get to this day. So I'm going to click on this journal, and it pops up with some more information on a new screen. There are instructions here that I've given to you, extra instructions in case you're not exactly sure what to do. And in this first week, you'll notice that it's a typical school week. So you'll need to account for 5 days of physical activity when filling out the attached activity journal, which is right here if you need a copy of it. Go ahead and click on this, and if you're using Google Chrome as your browser, it should download just down here. And if you're using Firefox, it should download to a up arrow above the cursor here. But either way, if you need a blank copy, go ahead and click this, and it'll download to your computer. And once you open it with Microsoft Word, it will look like this. And by the way, if you don't have Microsoft Word installed on your school computer or the computer you're using for school, please do reach out. I can help you set it up. It's not a problem, but you should have Microsoft Word on the computer you're using for your schoolwork. And you get it free, by the way, as long as you're enrolled with us. So don't think it's something you have to pay for. So once you get this document open, it's just a blank worksheet. One side, very simple. There's a box for each activity type, start time, stop time, and location for each day. That's what these columns are for. So day 1 is typically Monday, day 2, Tuesday, so on and so forth until you get to day 5, which in most all cases is Friday. So if we have a short week, like the Labor Day week that's coming up, day 1 being Monday, you can just leave this column blank and start on day 2. Or if you prefer, you could say day 1 is Tuesday and you just fill up the first 4 columns and leave the 5th blank. Either way is fine with me. But once you get this worksheet open, there's a couple of things you need to do right away. Name, date, and the date's going to be the date of the submission. So in this particular class, in this particular activity journal that I've loaded up here, that would be Friday, August 31st. So you just type that right up here under the date. Once you get down to the activity type, it's very self-explanatory, but I will show you a fully filled out journal right here. So this is one that I did. So I put my name and I put the date of the submission. And then I went through, and for each day, having a column, I put my activity. And notice I was descriptive in my activity. I did not write exercise, worked out. I didn't do that. I put what I actually did, which is very helpful in me being the person who's grading this, not only giving you an accurate grade, but also having a dialogue with you over the course of the quarter where we can interact and I can answer questions of yours or give you suggestions based on what it seems like you like to do for physical activity. So again, take a look at my activity type. Day 1, so this was a Monday, I did a P90X shoulders and arms DVD routine, and it was at 6 p.m. I finished it at 6:55 p.m. and the location was home. Now this location is where you can be kind of vague. I don't need to know your address. I don't need to know exactly where you're working out. Whatever you want to put here is fine. If you go for a jog around your neighborhood, you can just put my neighborhood. Whatever you want to do there, that's fine. What I want you to do is be descriptive in the activity type and be as accurate as you can for the start and stop time. I don't need it down to the second, but I just need to make sure that you're doing at least 30 minutes of activity each school day. That's the minimum that I'm allowed to give you full credit for. Anything above and beyond that, I love it, but it's not required. Down here in the notes section, this is, again, where you and I can have back and forth dialogue. If you have questions, comments, or if you need to be more specific and descriptive on something you might have put here in the activity type category, then that's where you can do that. So if you want to ask me questions like, Mr. Svensson, I'm wondering about how I increase upper body strength, or I'm wondering about how I can get some more cardio in, things like that. This is where you could ask if you'd like to. So what I did was I added a little note for day 3. So it says elliptical in the Kings game. And I explained that on Wednesday, I watched the Kings basketball game on my iPad while I was using the elliptical machine, just to be a little more descriptive to ensure that the person who's grading, which happens to be me, knows what it is you're doing and make sure that it counts for credit. Now, once you've done this, you're going to go ahead and save as and save it somewhere on your computer that you can find it. And then you scroll down a little bit to the add attachments part. For me, that's going to actually say add assignment, submit assignment for you. So there will be a different button here. For me, in the teacher view, it says add attachments. But you can select a button here that will allow you to upload that journal that you just filled out and saved to your computer, and then click submit, and that's all you have to do to turn it in for grading. All right, so if you have questions, as always, from our class homepage, you can reach out to me via email, phone call, or text, and let me know if I can be of help.